You are getting ready to listen to the voice of Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, four-time national judo champion, Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach.
Before I get started with my talk today, I want to, oh Lord, that didn't work. I still take some time to sit down and talk with my parents when I can. And what's going on, Juby? What I notice is, and this has nothing to do with what I want to talk about today, but I think that a lot of you all, you're so caught up in the time at which you're living that you forget that people lived before you and people are going to live after you. And the changes that you make, you're expecting for people to make some of those same changes. My mom and dad, they don't know nothing about no binary and he, she, and pronouns. And I'm just using that as an example. My parents don't know nothing about that. And I'm going to tell you this here. If you try to go to my mom's house and sit down and tell my mom about that, she's going to pull that Bible out. And she's going to read to you from that. And you can try to get up and leave if you want to. And she's going to start casting out demons and going to get her bottle of oil out of her purse and anointing the doorknob down. So when you touch it, wow, you be anointed when you leave. And that's just what it is. And you can talk to her about the church and religion and how you speak. They're not listening to that. Those people are 70 years old. Now, let's move into the people who are in my demographic. The 40 and 50-year-olds. 40 and 50-year-olds will suffer your ignorance, meaning we will sit there and nod our head and listen to you and go along with what you say because we don't have time to, as black folks say in the South, to argue. We don't want to argue with you. So that we just don't argue with you, we can go on with our life. We just nod our heads and we act like we're listening to what you are saying so that you feel good about the situation. And then we do what me and my man Juby say, and then we just go on about our business. Now, 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds, y'all arguing about nothing. And I think that in today's space and place, we're so concerned about how we see a thing that we don't make space or room for how somebody may see it differently. Now, as I say all that, I want to get into something that really it's really been boiling in my system to talk about, and I have not dropped my first coffee with Rhadi yet this year. This is my first one. And it is about attitudinal amputation. Yes, I say it twice like the black church. Attitudinal amputation. Sometimes in the medical profession, in the medical field, you end up with some type of sickness in the body to the point where the sickness has gotten so bad that if we don't remove this particular thing, it can overrun the whole system in and of itself. And at the end of the day, the body wants to survive. The body wants to do what the body does. The body wants to be able to be in a position. What's going on, Professor David? The body wants to be in a position so that it can duplicate itself. The body wants to be in a position so that it can move forward with life. And if something is holding the body, if something is holding the body back from doing what the body is supposed to do, then that thing needs to be cut off. What I see in sport and what I see in life is I see people who are carrying around a thing attitudinally that is corrupting and spoiling the body. It's corrupting and spoiling their success. It's corrupting and spoiling their ability to achieve. It's actually corrupting their relationships and they don't know it. Because people only see loss when something is taken away. They don't see loss by something that's not attracted to them. There are people who are not attracted to you by what you're doing attitudinally. Now, I have watched some of my students inside of my dojo and some of my clients that I have around the country, around the world really, and there are some individuals and some people who have a stench. They have a smell that's with them. Sometimes it's a attitudinal malodor, if you will. And when you smell this particular thing, you try to advise them that, hey, I think you need to take some attitudinal antibiotics and make some attitudinal changes and some attitudinal adjustments. I'm acting as your fever to let you know that things are a little bit off here. And when they don't make these particular changes, then you have to tell them, hey, we need to cut off the problem here as we identify it. And systemically, when we identify that the problem is the attitude, then that thing needs to be cut. Now, what is the problem here? What happens is, and let me move into my discussion. What happens is we don't know when to lose. We don't know when to lose. I've been in a situation where I've been on the assault bike or the aerodyne bike, and I've just eaten, and I'm getting ready to feel sick. I'm not feeling good. I'm getting ready to feel like my food is going to come up. So what I do is I gear down on my workout because my ego is in the way. My attitude and my ego are in the way. The things that are in the affective domain. So I don't lose the ego and I don't lose the attitude because I don't want people to see me as being quote unquote weak or go outside the vomit. So I gear down and I don't choose to lose at that moment. And because I didn't lose at that particular moment, when it comes time 2 and 3 weeks down the line for me to get on the mat or for me to win a scramble or win in a tight situation, I can't win. I will lose then because I didn't lose before. I didn't choose to amputate the issue or the problem at the time. And it has festered and it has gotten worse. What we don't understand is that losing is inevitable. Losing is inevitable. The key is losing when you are supposed to lose so that you can win when you want to win. Jesus, don't make me preach this thing. I'm not ready to bring it home yet. Let me give you the second example. I was watching my daughter yesterday do a circuit. She had 30 seconds on and 30 seconds off. And she was doing a single leg hops. And she was hopping around this circular ladder that I have on a single leg. And when she was hopping around the ladder on a single leg, she put her foot down. And every time she put her foot down, I said, thank you so much for that particular set. You will do another one without putting your foot down. She put her foot down again. Now this is 1 minute. These are 2 30-second goals. She has done 1 minute of putting her foot down, which makes no sense for her to be able to do it later. I let her know there is no way out. She had started crying. I saw the body language. I saw the attitude was coming into place. I said, this is the time, we need to pull out this scalpel. I need to pull out my coaching scalpel, and I need to amputate the attitude or the issue that is in place right now that will not allow her to believe that she can do this for 30 seconds without putting her foot on the ground, because at the end of the day, it is a decision and it is a choice. You have to decide, D-E meaning of or from the Latin, C-I-D meaning to cut or kill. You need to decide what part of you that you want to cut off so you can make the appropriate choice to do the right thing. And because she is 12, I'm getting ready to move into my parent portion. Because she is 12, it is my job to teach her the right choices and the right decisions at the right time, and to cut her ass or cut the attitude off. So all you don't believe in somebody getting their eyes cut, but sometimes you just need your eyes cut, because sometimes the amputation cannot come without the physical confrontation. I bet you there's nobody on here who has touched that hot stove twice. Help me, somebody. My daughter is 12. If I would let her make the decision, she will continue to put her foot down. When I let her know that sorry about that. When I let her know that the only way out is through, she no longer put her foot down. She did the 30-second on the left foot without putting her foot down, and then she did the 30-second on the right foot without putting her foot. Now, if she was tired, she would have never been able to do it without putting her foot down. What allowed her to put her foot down? You know what allowed her to not put her foot down? You know what allowed her to not put her foot down? What allowed her to not put her foot down was me as a parent putting my foot down. This is how we would do it. This is the standard of excellence. This is how we do things here. This is how they will be done. The attitude that you are bringing into the situation will be cut off immediately. And the ass cutting that you will take will be repeating the exercise over and over and over again until it is done to my liking. Once a task is once begun, never leave it till it's done. Be the labor great or small, do it well or not at all. When we start doing the thing, we will finish the thing as it should be done. Now let me move into the parenting position and place. I was on the phone with one of my frat brothers. His son wrestles. His name is Phil Campbell. His son's name is Phil. Hey, what's going on? Professor Winston Gordon from the UK. I was on the phone with my fraternity brother and his son, and he asked me, how do you get good? And I said, man, the way you get good, and little Phil, his son, he went 4-0 this past weekend in wrestling. He said, how do you get good? I said, the way that you get good is you just don't quit. He said, well, why do people quit? I said, usually people quit because their parents let them quit. He said, well, that doesn't make any sense. Out of the mouth of babes in the name of Jesus. He said, that doesn't make any sense. I said, no, Phil, it doesn't make any sense. But here's what you parents say. Oh, let me finish this off, Lord. Let me pause here parenthetically to say this. My mother says this, and she says this often. She says, and if you know old school black women, like old school black women in the South, when they start talking like this and moving their hair like this, they letting you know, I ain't dealing with none of that what you talking about. My mom said, she said, I don't know nothing about all this new wave parenting y'all got going on. I don't know nothing about it. Here's what I know. She said, I know how I parented you, and that's the way it should go. And I told you in the beginning, my mom's 70 years old. She is not having an argument with you about something that she's already done with a son. I'm not bragging on myself at all. I'm just telling my parents. My parents, to date, I've never been to jail, never been to prison, got a PhD, got 3 degrees, went to the Olympics, got multiple black belts, multiple degrees, certifications. Like, listen, my parents did okay. Did I get beatings and spankings and all that stuff? Yeah, I'm not telling they did it the right way, but they're not deviating on what they say. They're not. Now, let's go back to this. And you need to make space, like I said before, you need to make space to understand how they do it. And we need to make space for understand how some of you all do it. But let me tell you something. The way that some of you all do it, I can't understand it. All right? Kids cry and beg, and their parents tell them we're not doing this sport anymore, or we're going to stop, or we're going to quit, or what. And I cannot understand it. When they understand that the child does not want to do it because it is difficult. That is why the child does not want to do it. It's because it's difficult. If you always let your child stop doing something that's difficult, your child will be weak. And the reason why you're letting your child quit is because, quite honestly, you are weak too. You're a weak person. And it's okay. I am telling you, I sit in my dojo. Who is this? My brother Anthony. As an educator, I always start. Yeah, it always starts at home. Listen, I have young people in my dojo, 6, 7, 8 years old. And they start doing something and they quit. And I asked them, I said, do you know why you quit? He says, no, I don't know why I quit. I said, well, you want me to tell you why you quit? He said, yeah. I said, you quit because you're weak. The parents look at me. I look at the parents. I said, what are you talking about? I said, what are you talking about? I said, you've never had anybody tell you that your child is weak? Your child is weak. This is weak shit, man. Your child is weak. Your child is doing weak stuff. Your child is weak. And this is what I say. I say, look, Henry, do you want to be weak? He says, no. I said, then get back over there and then finish it and be strong. Get right back over there and finish it with no problem. Attitudinal amputation. You all have a problem with calling the thing the thing. We're not going to circumvent the thing. Like, I have a teacher in my place who says, you can't call the kids in school losers anymore. I said, well, what do you call people who win? She said, we call them winners. I said, what do you call the people who lose? She said, we call them people who get the opportunity to try again. What the hell? So what are you talking about? You lost, man. You lost. Loser, L-O-S-E-R, means one who loses. You lost, you're a loser. I'm not a loser. Yeah, you're a loser, man. You just lost. You're the loser. He's the winner. Well, she's the winner. She's the loser. What are you talking about? Today, you're a loser. You come back tomorrow and win, then you're a winner. You can do the winner work and be a winner, or you can do the loser work and be a loser. Let me backtrack to my thing. Everybody will what? Lose. If you don't lose the attitude or lose the issue or lose your problem, and some of you parents, if you don't lose your parenting approach with Jesus God. So, let me say this. I'm not getting into no issue or discussion about the war in Russia and Ukraine. Personally, I'm not reading enough about it. I don't know enough about it. Here's what I do know. The special smoke. Here's what I do know. I do know that Russia went into Ukraine. That's what I know. I also know that at that particular time, civilians had to take up arms to do some fighting. That's what I know. You live in a society in the United States where you're insulated by water on the sides and Canada on the top, and you don't train your children as if one day they may have to take up arms and defend themselves. And the reason why you don't do that is because we live in a very privileged society with a strong military force. From a nationalistic view, okay? Somebody else may say supposedly. From a nationalistic view, we have a strong military force. But you don't train your child with the possibility that if the stuff hits the fan, you will need to take up arms and go fight. Because you don't teach your children that violence is an option. Now, one of my favorite wrestlers, okay? Alexander Karelin. Just so happens that he is from Russia. 4-time Olympian, 3-time Olympic gold medalist. who plays the violin at a very high level. Very high level. I was having a discussion with another jiu-jitsu professor at the tournament this past weekend. And he said, man, I thought you had some more kids than this. I said, I did, man. I had a couple of kids who quit. I had about 4 or 5 kids that quit when the new year came out. I said, and I had a couple of them practicing violin. He says, yeah, this is what he said, not what I said. He said, yeah, the violin is not going to help you if somebody's trying to rape you. I said, you are 100% correct. And I don't believe in an either or approach. I don't believe you need to have the violin or martial arts, but I do believe in an and approach. And I'm telling you that in your mind, if you believe that you don't need to know how to throw a cross in a jab and a hook, then you need to attitudinally amputate that thinking from yourself. Every human being walking should know how to throw an appropriate jab, an appropriate right cross, an appropriate hook, and an appropriate uppercut. It is a 1, 2, 3, and a 4. It is a jab, cross, hook, and an uppercut. Every person alive should have the option to know how to do that. I don't believe that everybody needs to be a gun owner, because I understand that some people are in a certain place where they don't need to have a gun. I don't believe everybody needs to be a gun owner. I don't. I believe that everybody should go to the gun range and everybody should take the opportunity to shoot, whether you like to shoot or not. I also believe, whether you know it or not, that you should learn how to appropriately shoot a bow and arrow. Yeah, you should. I know. I'm not the greatest at it. I know it. There's another thing that I haven't done that I got to get done this year. I do not have a kit to make the starter kit in order to make fire from wood. I need to learn how to do that. For sure. These are things that you need to learn. I mean, you just need to learn how to do. You need to know. And you need to know it so that you can pass it down, because don't think just because you have electricity, you have things in place that you don't need those things anymore. That is a mistake. You need to attitudinally cut that type of thinking off. You need to amputate that type of thinking. Let me say this to round this thing out. Losing is a part of life. When I hear people say, I don't want to go to school, school's not for me, I have no problem with that statement. If you've been. I went to school through high school. Yeah, you did. But you didn't go to school. You didn't go to college yet. You got to go K through 12. It's true. I say, man, I mean, you got to. School's not for me. Take a community college class. Put the effort into it. Then if you don't like it, try a semester. If you don't like it, don't go back. Now you've made it. Now you're talking. You're not talking what we call shit out of your ass. You're actually making sense. You said, hey, I went to college. I went to community college. I paid the $900, whatever it was. I didn't like it, man, and it's just not for me. Got it. Good. Hey, cool. Oh, got it. You did it. But don't say it's not for you. Say the following. Say, I didn't really go. I was scared that I was going to fail out. Or say, I didn't go. I didn't think it would be for me. Or say, I didn't go. I don't know if it's for me or not. I just chose not to go. All those things are honest. They're honest. They're true. And you need to understand that whatever time that you decided to go, that may for you have been a win if you decide to become an entrepreneur or do something else, or it may have been a loss. And if it is a loss, okay, if it's a loss, you should have backed that loss up. You should have chosen you should have chosen to instead of take the loss there, you should have lost what you had going on in your ego or lost what you had going on in your attitude to try to win there. So you could lose further on down the line. But you don't want to take the emotional hit. You don't want to take the ego hit. You were doing what I did on the bike that day. I'm sitting on the bike and I don't want my food to come up. Cause I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to buy. Hey, let me just say this as I close. I'm so sorry about that. My Facebook Live, my phone just shut off. We can't have that going on. I need to go check with T-Mobile or whoever I need to talk to get this situation under control. The bottom line is this. Like when I was on the bike that day, I didn't want to lose my food. And yeah, it might have got overheated. I didn't want to lose my food. And I didn't want to lose my ego at the time. And because I didn't want to lose there, I had invested in losing later. And you have to, when you're old and you're grown, like old grown folk, sometimes you got to tie that thing off that's causing the problem, and you got to cut it off. You got to tie it off and you got to cut it off. And when you're an adult and you see those behaviors in children, man, you have to amputate them. You don't got to do them the way that I do them. I mean, Professor David would tell you sometimes I'm a little over the top, but I'd rather be over the top than be crawling on the bottom. In the name of Jesus, I'm a little over the top. But I'm very, very results oriented and results focused. And as you go through your day and through your week, think about the things that need to be attitudinally amputated, and think about the things that you need to lose so that you can win. And just remember that you had the greatest gain in your life because of the greatest loss in his. He died so that you may live. This is Dr. Ferguson. That was super fantastic. Remember, I love you, but God loves you best. En el nombre de Jesús y Espíritu Santos. Amén.